Well, folks, we are not at the training center today, but we do have a learning opportunity because I broke down and luckily I had somebody come and save me. So I think I have a bad alternator and I thought we'd take a few minutes just to talk through how some ways to check it. And yeah, let's figure out if we can fix this. I have two meters here. And for our initial check, either one of these meters will work because we're going to do a basic voltage check. But the voltage check is going to kind of tell us mainly, is the voltage going up when we crank the car, or is it slowly draining down when we crank the car? Now, ultimately, what we want to know is there current going into the battery, or is there current flowing out of the battery? Now, if we look at this meter, it does have a post for 10 amps on it. Now, on DC 12 volt, 10 amp is not a whole lot. So I'm going to urge you not to use this meter for that. Unless maybe we're looking for a very small overnight drain where like the car would crank after you get a jump, it seems to charge and we just can't figure out what the drain is. But for most of this, we're going to need a clamp style meter. Now, I'm not at the PLC lab. Y'all know I have a ton of meters down there, but I did find this one meter. I was like, oh, this one has a clamp that does DC. So a lot of you are like, oh, I have a clamp. I can go measure it. Most of your clamp meters are actually only AC. So check your meter, make sure it actually says you can do DC. So we can use this one as well, but we're going to start out doing a basic meter check. And so this left me on the side of the road, but we took the battery out of it and we charged it overnight, went and stuck it back in, and it went to working just fine. So my gut feeling is that we have an alternator issue. So I'm going to touch our terminals there. And we're showing right at 12.64 volt. We want to write that down because you can't really say that it's good or bad based on that. What we want to see is what does it do when it's off compared to when it's running. So, Michael, will you crank the car up? Okay, now that we're running, we're down to 11.91. And that tells us it definitely is not charging. Now, you may see a value of like 12.5. And what I want to get Michael to do now is, Michael, will you turn the headlights off? So our headlights are on. Okay, and see how it did jump off when he turned the headlights off? That tells us that, yeah, we're just draining out of the battery. Now, since we have the clamp meter, we can put this thing into an amperage mode and make sure you put it on DC. One question I get a lot on stuff like this is, what do I need to put on the positive or the negative? Well, in the end, we're measuring current flowing through the total circuit. So we can put this clamp meter anywhere on it. Then I put it over here, and yeah, we're upside down, but we're showing about a 13 amp DC drain. Okay, got the new alternator on, and we're showing about 12.35 volt. And now we'll crank it up. And it's going up to about 15 volt. So a couple of things about this. First, we don't really say that we can call 15 volt good. Mainly right after you crank the car, the voltage should go up. Now, as this battery charges, this voltage will go down. And that might be a cool topic to talk about sometime. But one other thing I do want to talk about is I warned you earlier about using the post compared to the clamp. Well, here's why. Let's see what this is actually pulling while we're running. So I'm going to switch this over to 40 amps DC, pulling about 16 amps. So if we were using a meter that had like the 10 amp post on it, as soon as you put that 16 amps in it, it would have blown the fuse in your meter. And like we talked about in a lot of other industrial videos, the only thing that doesn't work on a meter when you blow that fuse is your amperage setting. So I promise you, happy out there, the fuse is blowing in your meter. While we're at it, here's a few other electrical videos that may help you out. See you over there.